What's going on, you guys? So I'm gonna show you how to make custom automatic duels in your world. So let's say you have a PvP world and you want a duels area where all they have to do is step on a pad, TPs them in the arena, and then they fight. So I'm gonna teach you how to make this right now. So this is going to be a really complex tutorial. This is not easy whatsoever. This is going to involve fake players, title raw. It's going to involve just a bunch of complex commands, execute. So the actual waiting system is probably the most complicated part. So I'll show you that now. I didn't show it in the what do you call it? The example video, but it does have, so besides need one more player, the timer, it does have if there's too many people, it'll just pick 2 random players. So if there's like 3 people, for example, on the pad, then it will just pick a random amount. It won't like actually make all 3 go in. So that's how that works. So I'm gonna show off the waiting commands or for the pad. So to actually start the game, there's a box there. There's 3 boxes I have set up, but the first box there, that one actually starts it. This one just TPs them to that. So I'm going to show you that now. So all of these 3 should be 0 tick, I believe, and then this one will be 21 tick on this one. So I'm going to show you this now. I am going to just go through all the commands, so you don't have to listen to me rant. I'll rant about it after I go through all of them. So here's the first one. Here's this one. So I'm going to go through all of these 0 tick first before I go through that one with the 21 tick on it. And if you're curious, 20 ticks is 1 second, by the way. Here's this. Now, I did get help with this. I didn't do this by myself. I did the entire automatic system when it comes to like the duels themselves, like all the commands for these here and above. All of that was me, but these commands here my friend actually made, so I don't fully know. I mean, I went through them and I have the general idea of what they do. I just don't fully know like exactly the whole system in itself. I just have an idea of what each one does. So I'm going to go through all of them, explain them the best I can. I did not make these, so I'm basically fresh with these. Same with you guys. So right here, when it's executing, this is a fake player. So this is why this gets complicated. When it comes to executes, like testing for a score, for example, you'll have a selector here, but instead of doing a selector like at A or at P, you can just do a fake player. It can be any. You could just do player, you could do game, you don't have to do anything specific. You could type random and it'll count, and then you can test for the score. So that's basically how this works. So that's what the fake player is. Also, I forgot to mention, you do need to make scoreboards for this, some objectives. So for the first one, you're going to have to do total. And then for the next one, for the duel, there's going to be 3. There's going to be duel rounds, then you're just going to press space and then do dummy. And then you press enter. And there's going to be duel timer. And then there's going to be duel wins. And the duel wins is just to track how many wins you get whenever you finish a duel and if you win. So you don't have to do the duel wins, but the other two, the duel round and the duel timer, you have to do. Okay, I'm gonna stop ranting about the fake player and all that. I'm gonna get into the commands. So the fake player duel wait. This is just for this system here. The total, that scoreboard I told you to make. This is the total for I believe the players. So the total amount of players, if it's under 1, it'll set the duel timer, like whenever you're standing on the pad, it'll go 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and then it starts. That's what this timer's for. Now the next one, this just removes the tag for everyone waiting. And then this next one, you want this before this one, because whenever it gets removed, it just gets re-added to anyone. So it's removing for everyone outside, but if they're already on the pad, then it'll keep the tag on them. So everyone on that pad will get the tag. So DX, DY, and DZ This is basically one block from your coordinates. So these are the coordinates. So 94, I'm gonna remember this. I'll repeat them. So you don't do these coordinates. Don't copy these. These you have to figure out on your own. I can't help you on that. The coordinates, for example, there's a setting in your thing. You just turn that on. You can do the coordinates. I'll just show you that. So just show coordinates. Just turn that on. So as you'll see, just like the command, 94, -51, -73 right here. Which, as you can see, 94, 51, 73. So that's the commands for this one. And for the dx, dy, and I like to do it in order. I don't know why he did dz second, but I just do dx, dy, and dz. So this here, the dx is 1, dz is 1, and then the dy is 1. So it is this, the first coordinate is x, so you see how it goes from 94 to 95. It's adding, so this is one block from each. So instead of dx would be 95, basically the coordinate 95. It's one block above this, or adding. It's adding 1. The next one, dz, it's adding 1 to 73, which I do this, and then it's -72, and then dy is up, which is this one, which would be -50. So that's how that works. That's how you do. That's what I call a zone, basically. So that's how you make the zone, and you have to do that for the area in which people will spectate, and the area in which people, actually no, that will be for tags for the inside area, but the people watching will get affected by another zone, which I'll show you. So that's how you do the zones, and then this just tags everyone on that pad waiting. Now we're gonna go on to this. So this sets the total amount of players to 0 on the pad. This one here, executing on the pad, if a player is there, it'll add 1 score to the fake player. Now this is a title raw. This title raw right here, if the duel weight is under 2 people, meaning there's only 1 person on the pad, then it will tell the people on the pad, or the person, you need 1 more player. Now this here, if it matches 2 people or more, you want the dots, that means 2 or more, and unless the duel timer equals 1, then it'll say starting in, and then that's for everyone on the pad, and then the actual, this detects the score on the fake player, and the score will display for these people here. The fake player, fake player being timer, and the objective being duel timer. Now we go into here. If there is people already in the arena, they'll have these tags. If there are, it'll set the duel timer for 0. And then for this, it's if there are people, it'll set the duel timer to 1. Or excuse me, I said this one wrong. If there aren't people, exclamation mark. If there aren't people dueling, it'll set it to 0. And if there are people dueling, it'll set it to 1. I should have messed up on that. So here on the execute, if the timer is on 0, then it'll tell the people on the pad that a duel is already in progress, meaning there's people already fighting. And so now we're going to get on to this. So turn this off, execute on first tick, you want that off. For the timer, it's going to be 21. Or tick, sorry, not timer, tick will be 21. If there are people on the pad waiting, and the duel timer doesn't match 1, then it will add the actual timer to the duel timer to the actual timer, and not the other fake player duel. It'll set it to the timer. It'll minus it by 1, and then here, this is actually what teleports the players into there. So after the first command, once the timer is on 0, it'll execute as a random player on the pad if the timer is 0, and unless this duel matches 1, which would be this, that means people are fighting. So unless people are fighting, then it'll do it. So it'll TP the random players to the box over here. So this is the box that they get teleported to. You're gonna want to make 3 boxes. That is duel 1, and that is duel 2 for an idea of like my boxes. So this is the start game box. So whenever they get teleported into here, that's the coordinates you saw in the last command on this one here. So that's the coordinates for this box. So just make 3 black boxes. This one's the starting, and those 2 are the spawn points for the players who are dueling. And so now this, we'll choose out of the 2 players. It'll give them a random one of them a duel tag, duel 1 or duel 2. So I'll show you this. I'll show you this one first. So it'll tag in the radius of 6 of my box here. It will, if they don't have the duel tag, duel 1 for their tag, it'll give them duel 2, and then it'll TP them, duel 2 in a radius of 6. It'll TP them to this box, which I'll show you. It's just the coordinates: 74, -59, -84. So it's just, that's the coordinates of the center of my box there. And then for this one, this actually starts everything. You only need it on one of these. You don't need it on both. You only want it on one. So this one, if they're for the player who doesn't have duel 2, they'll get duel 1, and then they'll get TP'd into this box. Coordinates being 129, -59, -84. So that's coordinates for mine. And then after that, you have 2 set blocks. Okay, so one of them, this one, is right here for my set block. That's right there. And then this one, this is the set block for this whole system here. So this is the start round system, which I'll get to in a second. First, I'm going to show you this. So for this first one, it goes to this one. So it does blank versus blank. So this is the zone I was talking about. I have a whole zone, which I showed you how to do the zones. I have a starting from, for example, one corner. So actually, I'll be more accurate with this. So it's 78. Let's see, 78, -56, -58, which would be this side. 58, 76, and then -56. So starting from down here, it'll tell everyone from this corner all the way, just estimating, all the way to here. So that's how my zone is. I started coordinates here and then did this. So you basically just want to add or subtract the coordinates from one corner to the other corner. So for example, like going from 78 to 125, obviously this isn't like the actual corner. I'm just giving an example. Let's say blah 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 52, 12 blocks up from this, and then -40 blocks because I'm at -58, but I'm now at -90 over here. So that needs to be a negative for the DZ. So yep, that's how you do that zone there. And then what it does here is it basically tells the first player, the selector, which would be the player with duel 1, and then the next one would be like a versus, and it'll say duel 2, which you saw in the example video. And so it just tells the people who's fighting. This needs to be on a 20 tick, by the way. This here is on a 120 tick. This just sets the duel rounds for duel 1, for the duel 1 player to 0. And then it sets the duel rounds for the duel 2 player to 0. Which their rounds is just how many rounds they have won, basically, is what that's for. And so this next one will set this to air, basically. So after this one sets the block here, then once all this runs, it'll set that to air. So now going on to this one for the actual start system. So for this, you're gonna want this on a 0 tick. But what this does is it clears all the effects for the players who are just now dueling. You don't have to do this. This is just for my map. But if you have effects on people and you want them cleared, you can do that. And now for this, I just give them health, so they heal, basically. I'm actually just going to go through all of these commands and I'll explain what they do. So, just like what I normally do, if you don't want to listen to me rant, I'll just go through all of the commands. Oops. And you'll notice some of these do have tick delays on them, so make sure you keep track if you're not listening to my explanation, make sure you keep track of those tick delays. Those are very important. Alright, so now that I've shown off all the commands, I'm gonna rant about them. So after the health effects, it will TP at duel 1 into, remember this is the duel 1 side, so the coordinates 121, negative 55, negative 84. So it'll TP them into here. This is like their little start room. It doesn't TP them immediately into the arena because it does a little start timer. So that's what that is. And then for this one, duel 2, 81, the negative 85 and the negative 84, which is just right here. So, and then that's on this side here. Oops, that's on this side here. So that's the TP's there for just the intermission while it waits for the thing to start. And now onto this, you're gonna want all the titles here are gonna be on 30 ticks. So it's 3 seconds, but I have it on 30 ticks, so it's actually a second and a half, even though it says 3, 2, 1. I just prefer it that way. Remember, like that zone I showed you in that question mark versus question mark command down there. You just copy and paste that zone here. Then you're just gonna title everyone in the zone 3, and then for this, you're gonna execute onto them at their position. You're just gonna do the random.orb. This is the volume, by the way. 999 is that volume. It's just the highest possible. And then this is the pitch. So 1 is the normal pitch and 0.4 is low, is the lower pitch. And then for this, 30 ticks again, just 2, title 2. This, same thing, it'll do a higher pitch. So really this is just a copy and paste, and I don't need to explain these really. And then back to the play sound, up 0.1 by pitch, same thing. And then after that, this actually TPs them into the arena, so wherever you want them TP'd into the arena. So 118, negative 55, negative 84, which should just be right here. Yep, 118, negative 55, negative 84. And then it's just the same thing for the other duel on the opposite side. So I won't show you the other side. I don't need to show you the coordinates. I'm just showing you the example. Oops, sorry. We're up here. So yeah, this is the same thing. Just TP's duel 2 to that other side there. I don't need to show you the coordinates. You get the idea. And then for the play sound, this is whenever they get TP'd, it does this play sound for when it starts. Don't forget the tick delay on this TP here, by the way. And then this here, for the play sound, just a random level up, does the 0.8 here for the pitch. And then this does the clear the title for, so like if you have a long timer on the title, it just gets rid of it quicker. So it just looks nicer, gets it off their screen. And then this set blocks this block right here. It sets this block to air after all of that. So this is a lot, you guys. I know this is kind of overwhelming, but yeah, I just wanted to get with the system, starting system over with. Before I get to the actual end game and the tracking and all that, I'm gonna go over the boxes. So now these here, this is the duel 1. So whenever the player gets TP'd after they get the tag, then they get TP'd in here, 0 tick. This spawn point just does the everyone or the nearest player with duel 1 sets their spawn inside this box. You're gonna want this on a 40 tick. This makes it to where if the player dies and they spawn back in here, then it gives the other player, so like if duel 1 died, then the player with duel 2 wins the round and they get the duel 1 round. Now this here, if the player is in here and they died again, and if this player is detected, basically, so if these players both exist, then it will, unless this matches 3, then it'll do a set block here. This is just the start game, so every time somebody dies, it sets the block back here. So that's not only for the start, that's for every round, basically. So whenever the player, the other player wins the round, when somebody dies in here, then it just sets that to the round timer, basically. Now going to here, it's basically the same thing. Nearest player with duel 2 now sets their spawn in there. This, again, 40 tick. Same with this one's on 0 tick. But this one, you're going to want on 40 tick. What this does, same thing. excuse me, if the duel 2 is in this box, it'll add the round to the other player on duel 1 on the other side. And then this same thing, just a copy and paste of those commands basically, except you're changing the numbers. You're just swapping them. So instead of this being duel 1, and it's now duel 2, and so on and so forth. So, unless they have 3 rounds win, and the reason why you want this, if they have 3 rounds won, then it'll allow the end game to actually finish. So yeah, again, same thing, just starts the round thing. So yeah, there's that, and this here, I just have this on 30 ticks. So everyone, this is the entrance of my room. Anyone near this entrance will, besides the people dueling, will just spawn back in here. Basically, that's what that's for. Now these are for the effects. So this is for the people dueling. I have this on an 80 tick. You don't have to do this, so you can ignore this if you want. Just skip forward a little bit if you don't want me to talk about this. But 80 ticks. So this, if duel 1 player will get regeneration for 2 seconds, and they'll get regeneration. So the number says 1, but it's actually 2. It just goes up by 1, if that makes sense. So if you had this on 0, for example, if I made this 0, that would actually be regeneration 1. And the first, this 2 here is the seconds. This is the level of regeneration. So I have it on regeneration 2 for 2 seconds. This would be 4 seconds. 80 ticks is 4 seconds, because 20 ticks like this is 1 second. Okay, so, and everyone inside of the zone of this whole area, it'll basically, besides the people dueling, will get weakness, resistance, and instant health. So they can't be killed in here, basically. So if they're spectating and watching the people fighting, they can't fight each other. So they can only spectate, basically. Alright, time to get into these. So this may seem like a lot for these guys, but realistically it's just copy and paste. Once you do this first tower here, you can just copy it over. You'll notice this says D1 for this here. This is actually just for if the first duel player wins, and then copy and paste over, just change the number basically. So this, if either of the players leave, it'll end. Alright, so starting here, ignore that, that's my phone. Starting here, I'm just gonna go through the commands again. So this is if they win, and remember to keep track of the tick delays here. Just want to show you the tick delay. These coordinates, by the way, are the entrance of my room, so this TPs them out of the arena, basically. Okay. Alright, and this is literally the same thing, but instead of duel 1, it's duel 2. So literally just copy all of these over, just do a /clone command or a structure block, or you can do, if you have a keyboard and mouse, if you hold your space and your crouch button, if you pick block it, it'll copy the data basically. So that's how you do that. So I just copy that over and just change, so you'll notice it's just the polar opposite. This is D2, but this is D1. This is D1, but this is D2. So it's just the polar opposite. Duel 1, for example, but instead this is duel 2. So yeah, copy and paste. Okay, so now player 1. This is the duel 1 player. So if either of these duel players leave, this is what this will do. It'll just reset it. So let's say I'll just go through the commands like I said. So that's the first command. Again, I'll go back to it. 50 ticks for that on the delay. Here's this. Okay, and again, that's the same thing. Just instead of what do you call it? Instead of duel 1, it's duel 2 for the thing. I'll just go through really fast. Okay, so I'll go through these before I go through all these. These are a lot. This is a lot easier. So this here, if unless means like unless the player is here, then it won't do it. But since the player isn't here, then it will do it. But if this player here is there and this player's not, then it'll set the duel rounds for this player who is still here, but the other player isn't. to 0, set their duel rounds to 0, and everyone in the zone, it'll just tell them player 1 disconnected, which is the duel 1 player. And then this one just TPs duel 2 out of the arena and removes their tag. And then this is the same thing just for the duel 1 player. Okay, now I'm going to get on these for the end duel. So if duel 1 wins, basically, if their rounds reach 3, then it will give the player 1 win. This, for my map, I have coins. It'll just give them money. You don't have to do this. This here, it'll, same thing, just for the money. Ignore that. This, though, for everyone in the zone of the room, they will be notified that duel winner. It's kind of hard to see there, but I have a little dark dash right there. I can do that, and you can kind of see it. It's kind of hard to see. It'll say the selector with duel 1 won. And then for this one, just sets the person who lost, sets the rounds to 0. Also sets the person who won rounds to 0. And then it TPs the player out of the arena, TPs the other player out of the arena, removes everyone of duel 1 their tag, and then it removes everyone duel 2 their tag. So yeah. And then same thing for this side. I'm not going to go through it. I mean, I will, just in case if you guys are a little confused about it. I won't explain it because it'll literally just be explaining what I just showed you. So I'll go through it really fast, but long story short, that is all of the commands. There isn't any more to it. But yeah, that was everything. So if you guys have any questions, I totally understand. This is not an easy tutorial whatsoever. This is like a lot to look at. So any questions, let me know. Just try to do your best with this. It's honestly tricky to get through all this if you're new to commands. This is not something really to just know what's going on if you're new. So, but yeah, that's everything. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed. Realistically, all you got to do is build the arena and the spectating area and so on and so forth. So yeah, black boxes for the spawns and then the start game box. So yeah, I'll stop ranting. That is the end of the tutorial. I hope you guys enjoyed. So yeah, take care, you guys.